I wish only to fight for you. For your claim and mine.
There's something I need to tell you, Jace. Something I should have told you when you first became heir to the throne. It's a secret that Viserys told me when he named me his successor. And it has passed from king to heir since Aegon the Conqueror's time. I never told you because I was unsure that I believed it myself. The Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king or a queen. They are a protector. Ordained to lead the Seven Kingdoms, to strengthen them, and to unite them against a common foe. Viserys chose me to succeed him. He held to this the whole of his life. My father believed that I alone was meant to be this protector.
They're 1,500 strong at least, my lord.
But to unite the realm, I had to send the dragons to war. The horrors I have just loosed cannot be for a crown alone. That is why I must believe what Viserys told me when he named me his heir. What Jaehaerys had told him. And what I will now tell you.
What is it?
Aegon the Conqueror's dream. He called it the Song of Ice and Fire.
Welcome to the Unreal Hour.
Hi there and welcome to our show. I'm Fiona.
And I'm Emma.
And this is... What episode is this?
This is episode 4.
Mind is blown.
What an episode!
I actually can't speak. I don't know how we're going to do a podcast when I am speechless. That was the red dragon and the gold.
Yeah. We are literally recording this off the back of just watching it.
Yeah. Wow. Just wow. And let's not forget Nana Vagar. Oh my God. Right, but we're going to take a breath. We're going to save that for the dragon section.
Yes.
And let's talk about what happened before that. Can you remember anything that happened before that?
I hope so. It did seem like a very long episode just because of the wow that we've just witnessed.
Yeah, that looks like some very expensive wow. Yeah. Right, okay.
Let's get back to the whole lol section before that, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really funny episode, wasn't it? So this was directed by Alan Taylor and it was written by Ryan. And, of course, it's looking like every episode for this season has Ty Mickle as the story editor.
Cool.
So he's got a writing credit in every episode. But it was Ryan that wrote the bulk of this episode and Alan Taylor that directed it. Now, we said at the beginning of this season that we were expecting some big things from Alan Taylor, and boy, did he deliver.
Yeah, he did not disappoint.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were looking at his portfolio, you're thinking big visual, and then that first episode, it was fantastic, but there was nothing...
Sorry.
It's okay. But there was nothing visual so much in that episode. So it was like, okay, Right? And then the next one comes along, this guy's director, you're like, this is what we wanted.
Yeah.
This is what he was hired for. Absolutely outstanding. I'm just blown away. I don't know what to think. Let's see, where can we start?
So we did start off with Damon at Harrenhal, and lovely Millie's back.
Yay, another cameo from Millie, loving it. So good to see her. Couldn't understand a word she said.
Neither did Damon in the beginning.
No, he did not. It was very higgledy-piggledy, but I did... I did transcribe it.
Nice.
She said, "You created me, Damon, yet you are now set on destroying me, all because your brother loved me more than he did you. This is what you always wanted, is it not?" This is after he cut her head off.
Awesome, though, when he cuts her head off and the head starts looking about and talking.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
It's so creepy. And there's been a raven. But it wasn't her talking.
Yeah.
It was actually not Lionel Strong.
Simon.
It was Simon Strong.
Simon.
I love Simon Strong. He's just so fab. So the Raven was to say that Rosby and Stokeworth had fallen without siege. So Cole's marching his way across the Riverlands. Or towards across the Crown Land, should I say?
Yeah,
making his way towards the Riverlands. But yes, let's talk about Damon for a second. Let's just do Harrenhal in general, because there was quite a few things going on there, don't you think?
Yeah, there was.
So yeah, that was his first wee dream. It was very clear that Damon's in turmoil here. Sorry, I still can't think straight after the dragon stuff.
I'm totally with you. I'm trying to take myself back.
Yeah. Where was I? All my notes are all in the wrong order here for the way we're talking. It's just the way it's coming out. I'm like, that's not what I planned. Absolutely.
I reckon that's what Chris and Cole thought.
Oh... We could turn this on its head and just do the dragon section first.
No, come on.
No.
Let's stick with Harrenhal as our first.
Do you know
topic.
what, actually? The reason my notes are all higgledy-piggledy is because I promised our listeners Harrenhal lore last week. So I say last week. We're not going to kid people on here, Emma. We've had a few weeks off.
Yeah, it's been weeks, guys.
Yes. Yeah. Life stuff happened and here we are. But we're catching up. And
we are.
Yeah, absolutely. We're back in the game. So last time we talked about how Harren the Black conquered the Riverlands and enslaved the Riverlands to build his monument to, well, it's
himself.
Yeah. I was trying to find a way to get to penis extension from them, but Monument 2 didn't quite lead in there. So yeah, so Harren's built this massive penis extension.
This massive phallic symbol.
Yes, that's the one. Oh dear. And Aegon's of course taken that, but right after the fall of Harren, Aegon gives the burnt out remains of Harrenhal to a family who were actually a Valyrian family. They were the fourth known Valyrian family in the area. They weren't lords at this time, but at this point were raised up to lords as he gave him Harrenhal. So they became the fourth noble Valyrian family in the kingdom.
Cool. What was their name?
So that was House Coheres.
Right, okay.
They obviously didn't last long because this is Harrenhal. So House Coheres held Harrenhal from 1 AC to 37 AC. In 9 AC, Quentin Coheres, which was the lord that was initially granted Harrenhal, fell from his horse.
How unfortunate.
Absolutely. I mean, that happens sometimes. Leah Royce.
Okay.
So who's to say if that was the curse or just an unfortunate accident? Because people fall from their horses.
They do.
Yes. So later his grandson, who was known as Gargan the Guest. And he was not a very nice guest.
Oh.
He was the kind of guest that liked to invoke the right of first night, prima nocta.
Oh, what a dick.
Yes, we were just
No
talking
pun
about
intended.
Braveheart earlier, so
Yeah.
we're all clear on prima nocta. Means, so he was inviting himself to every wedding in the realm. In the Riverlands, should I say, until the time of Aenys. So, in the time of Aenys, who was Aegon the Conqueror's son, there was a wee bit of uprising in the Riverlands, and a group of rebels took Harrenhal, led by Harren the Red. They opened the gate, they got the gates opened for them, somebody let them in, because Gargan wasn't a very nice boss. So, people let them in, and they had Gargan castrated in the Godswood and fed his bits to the dogs.
Nice.
So just another...
I can't think of a more fitting end.
Yes, exactly. And of course, this right of prima nocta would later be outlawed at the behest of Alysanne. That was one of the things that she was the most famous for, good Queen Alysanne.
Yeah.
Getting rid of that horrible... It's like, I don't know, it's entitled rape, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's vile.
It's disgusting. Anyway, so he was gone, and then there was a wee bit of who's holding Harrenhal for a while, but eventually it was given to Lord Harroway, who was raised up from... Well, we think Harroway's town. He was someone important within the town, and they were raised up to lords. So
it's like a really shit past the parcel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who can we give it to? This lord that doesn't have very much. He might want this massive big castle that is actually really just a big pain in the arse.
Absolutely. Well, it didn't work out very well for him.
What a shock.
Because he let his sister, again, may have to fact check that. It's been a while since I wrote these notes.
I've got total faith in your notes.
Well, she married Maegor.
Oh.
So, yes.
Oh, poor her.
So she possibly had one of the suspected lizard babies.
Oh, is this one of the things where, and we can leave this, we can edit this, but anyway, I'm having one of those, it's been so long since we did this research.
Yeah.
Was she one of the ones that he decided to wipe out her whole town and line because of this?
Yes, absolutely. So
not yes that he did that, but yes that I actually remembered that.
Yeah, no, got it. So yes, she had her lizard baby, and apparently there was a whole thing where 20 men were all interrogated for apparently sleeping with her. I mean, you would think if you were trying to get pregnant on the fly from your husband that you would just find one guy that was going to keep his mouth shut and just sleep with him lots rather than sleeping with 20 different men. It seems a bit far-fetched, but all but 2 of them confessed.
Well, I mean, you would confess to anything under that sort of torture that they received.
Yes, well, they were tortured for 2 weeks, or was she tortured for 2 weeks?
I would say that I'm a nighttime butterfly that sprouts wings and flies around and steals eggs if you tortured me for 2 weeks.
Exactly. And yeah, then the entire Harroway family was slaughtered down to everyone in the town that was related to them in any way, shape or form.
And this is what is part of this curse.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just the Lord of Harrenhal has this sort of death curse placed on him. It's the whole line is wiped out.
It might take a couple of decades, but...
Yeah, but they're eradicated.
Gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So then we have House Towers. And after destroying House Harroway, King Maegor decreed that the strongest of his knights would have the castle, though not all of its lands. 23 knights of his household fought in the blood-soaked streets of Lord Harroway's town for the prize. Sir Walton Towers was the victor and was granted the seat, although he died soon thereafter of his wounds.
I was going to say, it's not much of a prize, love.
Yeah. His line faltered 2 generations later when the last Lord Towers died without heirs. So during this time, the lands were decreased as well. Maegor gave away some of the lands of Harrenhal to other lords in the area as well. So what he inherited was not the initial lands of Harrenhal, but you got the castle, the Godswood, some of the surrounding lands as well. And as this family line decreased, the lands and that they owned as well
also
did.
decreased,
So Maegor Towers died at 9 years old in 54 AC. He was nursed in his last years by Rhaena Targaryen.
Oh, really?
And she spent from 61 to 73 AC there taking care of Maegor and then the small folk afterwards for a while. And Harrenhal didn't have a ruler until House Strong in 73 AC after Rhaena had died. I feel like
was Rhaena like a custodian?
Yeah, she was a custodian. She wasn't. She basically was there. She was helping out. She was helping out with young Maegor and helping out the small folk afterwards. And she just Jaehaerys just let her stay there because that's she was feisty, and I think he was a bit scared of his big sister, to be honest with you. It's like, okay, Rhaena wants to stay at Harrenhal, Rhaena can stay at Harrenhal.
She absolutely mothered him, though, didn't she? Through all the horrors when he was a little boy and his elder siblings being killed off.
Absolutely.
She was his mother, essentially.
Definitely. She was a good big sister, but was
she another sort of queen that never was?
Yes, she was, because it was her and Jaehaerys' older brother Aegon, the Aegon the Uncrowned.
Yes.
And he was killed by Maegor.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be those two. They were the older two siblings that were married, and she had the twins.
Oh yes.
And also she had her lover, Alyssa Farman.
That's right, the egg stealer.
Yeah, so she's a really cool Targaryen. She's one of my favourites from the history books. Love her. But then House Strong takes over. But 15 years before that, Lucamore Strong wins a melee and joins the Kingsguard.
Is he the slut guy?
Yes, we're getting there, absolutely. And Bywin Strong...
Is he the slut guy?
No, he's the brother. He gets Harrenhal. And then Lucamore the Lusty.
Yes, he's the slut
guy. He had 3 wives and 16 children. And when he got caught, because they were even secret from each other, when he got caught, he was gelded and sent to the wall. And his children were all split up.
And this is where I feel like it's a total Mythbusters situation with the Harrenhal curse.
Yeah, because we want to know what happened to the bastards.
Yeah, where did all the bastards go? How many bastards did the bastards have? And legitimate children.
And did the curse affect them?
Yeah, how
we want to know.
Where did the ripples go?
We want to know.
George, come on, we need to know these things.
Detail. He needs to finish his main story. Let's not bother him with the wee details.
All right.
But these children were all split up, I think. God, where did they go? I know 3 stayed at Harrenhal, and I think maybe 3 went to the Vale, and 3 went to, I want to say, Storm's End. I could be wrong.
I feel like some crossed the water, or am I...
I don't know.
Or am I thinking maybe Bravos, or something like that?
Possibly, or maybe that's another. There's so many people in these history books.
Yeah.
It sometimes gets a bit confusing. We'll look that up at some point. We'll maybe correct that later if necessary. But anyway, in 105 AC, it was passed to Lionel. And as we know, there was a great fire. And I've wrote here in my notes, the seed is quote-unquote strong. And it made me think about Rhaenyra's sons. Mm-hmm. But at this time, I mean, we don't want to get into spoilers or anything here, but
we're going to stop that there.
Yeah, we're just going to stop that. That's maybe a conversation for no.
However, there's still the slut guy seed strong.
Yes, well, he's still out there. Or his children are still out there, who knows? Because they took over in 73 and it was 105 by the time Lionel.
Yeah.
I don't have a year here on when this all went down, but if this was Lucamore Strong joined the Kingsguard 15 years before 73. So I would imagine those children were middle-aged by this point. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know how cool it is to get ahead of the story where we are. However, Alice Rivers, she's in this episode, so that's
She absolutely
fine.
is.
And she's essentially becomes a custodian again, doesn't she?
Yeah, unofficial.
Yes, unofficial. But I wonder if there's any bastard seed with Alice Rivers.
Well, absolutely.
Her being a Rivers, could she be a Strong? There's the question that she was... Now, was she supposed to be the bastard daughter of Lionel?
It was suggested that she could have been the bastard daughter of
But
Lionel,
then
but it was
she was also meant to be a nursemaid to the
Lionel.
boys. So
It was also even suggested that she could have been Lionel's nursemaid.
Right, okay. So, yeah.
She could be that old.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with her. It's a bit... it's ambiguous. It depends on
Yeah.
how much you believe she's a witch that bathes in blood to keep herself youthful. You know, it's that kind of thing, and I think HBO have a history of downplaying the magic of ice and fire.
Yes.
Big time, like in a massive way, and I feel like we're getting a little more of that with House of the Dragon.
We are. I wonder, though, if George was tapping into... Because he has so much influence from sort of UK history.
Yes.
Is he maybe tapping into a little bit of witch trials stuff? And all the falsehoods that came from the witch trials about the accusations.
Do you know, I've never considered that, actually, because that George does love about his. He loves, you know, lore and history and Greek mythology and Lovecraft and all these things that influence him that are pure fantasy or pure sci-fi. But he also loves history. Mm-hmm. And that is, you know, that is a very prominent part of history, the witch trials. And possibly maybe could be where he was going with the Alice Rivers thing.
Maybe, yeah.
It could be that, you know, just an innocent woman being accused of being a witch.
Yeah, very possibly.
So that's interesting. I wonder. But then again, there's some things that I've heard that Alice Rivers does later on that...
I've only considered this sort of on the spot, and it's only because there's a new place opened up in Fife, in Scotland, and it's a Scottish Witch Trials Museum.
Oh, we have to go.
So that's in Leven in Fife, and yeah, I thought that was really cool. I think it's the only one in the UK, and it takes about, I think, 80 minutes to go around the whole thing. It's like £10 to get in, but apparently it's really, really good. Full of artefacts, full of information. There's lots of stories about witch trials that were held in a place called Couris in Fife.
Right.
There's a story about a witch she was buried out in the sea, not far from Couris, a place called Torryburn. So I wondered if these are things that George in his research has maybe come across and thought, that's quite cool. I may add that in.
I wonder. Actually, yeah, that's really, really cool.
And these are things that with the Scottish Witch Museum opening up, I'd kind of looked at the local area, and there's loads to be found on that for sure.
Right, so that wraps up our Harrenhal history lesson for today. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is still definitely a few more things that happen in Harrenhal, but none of them affect our timeline.
Yeah,
we have reached the point of our timeline, and some freaky stuff happens there afterwards, by the way. And when we get on to Duncan Egg next year, we'll talk about that.
Yes, we will.
Definitely. But for now, we're all caught up on Harrenhal's history and the families that have demised beneath its roof.
Yes.
Oh, scary. So then we have a little visit from Oscar Tully.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I found this scene quite amusing, actually. Sorry. Right. So first of all, it's hilarious because we've sent Oscar saying that he is his grandfather's heir to River Run, which means they're cutting Elmo and Kermit. And I'm a bit upset about that, but at the same time, maybe HBO thought Elmo and Kermit were just a wee bit too silly names for TV.
That's a shame.
That is a shame, because I thought it was hilarious that this entire family were named after Muppets.
Yeah.
But here we go. The line is going to skip Elmo, Grover's son, and Kermit, his grandson, to go straight to his younger grandson, Oscar.
Why was no one called Cookie?
I know! Cookies. Anyway, so my favourite line of the scene, though, Damon. My time is short and I have need of an army. Perhaps you may place a feather pillow over his head and speed along your inheritance.
It's his little face. Oscar's like, huh?
That is not her way, sir. Oh dear. And he's like, summon the Blackwoods. I need people that will actually fight. But then he has another dream later on in the episode after this wee incident. And it was really weird. Like, he's following Eamon through the halls of Harrenhal, but then when he turns around, it's actually himself.
Yeah.
And it's just like, creepy, you've got issues, dude. He so has issues. But then he walks in, just sword in hand, in a room with Alice Rivers. And yeah, I'm going to play the clip because I love this scene. She was fab.
It's a touch late to be stalking about a strange castle putting its people to the sword.
You.
I'm called Alice
Strong?
Rivers.
Bastard.
Once you get to know me, you'll find I'm not so bad.
So what are you then? Some kind of maester?
In a manner of speaking. I inherited the duties after the last one fled in the night.
Fled? Why?
Just never settled in. How are you settling in? I've come to know the face of tortured rest well enough.
Never noticed
Can be
the rain in the background when I was watching it.
What would
I
you know?
can hear it now.
Harrenhal's been cursed since its first stone was laid. Black Haddon felled the grove of weirwood trees that grew on these lands. But heart trees imbued with the spirits of those who lived long before he came. It's said their whispers can still be heard sometimes.
A midwife's tale.
No, but
The
is
bed you
it?
sleep in was made from such a heart tree.
I'm inclined to believe her.
Experienced anything of note?
You are a strange kind of woman.
I'm no woman at all. I'm a barn owl. Cursed to live in human form.
I love her.
So you come here after quarrelling with your wife.
What?
You arrive here alone, to claim the castle and yet send no ravens. Do you now plan to make your own claim? Perhaps to prove yourself to her?
Do not try me with your insolence, witch.
It's a hard thing, I imagine, to give obeisance to one who replaced you as heir. And a woman, too, a girl child you bounced on your knee. I mean, does it please you that her legitimacy is contested as you stand here with a castle and a dragon, attempting to draw an army of men? Here, drink this.
No, don't. It's lumpy.
You'll need your sleep if you're to win this place to your side.
I'm calling it right now, by the way. That was freaking weirwood paste she gave him.
As a not a fan of chunky soup person,
Maybe a little milk of the poppy in there too.
yeah,
He's out of his face here.
it looked vile.
Yeah.
I'll be no cravens, and they must pay for their treachery against the laws of gods and men, and against the crown.
Who are you?
Sir Blackwood, House Blackwood, Your Grace.
Oh dear.
You absolutely would, though. Going from standing talking to some girl, and then suddenly you're seated at the table, and someone's talking to you. You're like, who are you? what? How the fuck did I get here?
I think I've only ever been that drunk once. Like, I've been pretty drunk, but I think I've been that drunk once. What, who, what, how, where, what, nah.
Yeah,
no
Jägermeister
memories.
has done that to me and I have never touched that stuff again.
Oh God, yeah. Our last night in the bar that we worked together, that was a Jaeger night.
Yeah, that was a Jaeger, tequila, all the lager.
That was so messy.
That was very messy. But we did have a steak.
We did have a steak dinner, didn't we?
We did.
Oh, well. Anyway, so he comes back in at this meeting and he's just actually drooling, isn't he? It's hilarious. He's like tripping balls.
Yeah,
so
worst
bad.
soup ever.
Weirwood paste. It's weirwood paste, I'm telling you. So, for those of you who don't remember from the books or the show, actually, Bran was fed a similar gooey substance to awaken his green seer abilities when he was in the cave with Bloodraven in the north. And I think this is the same stuff. I think it is. And I'm just going to get into mad, crazy tinfoil theories here. So, like, skipping on. But see if I'm right. Oh, God, you guys are going to hear me. You're so going to hear me. We'll see how the season progresses before I get out my tinfoil. So this Willem Blackwood has said that once you and your dragon bring the Queen's justice to the Brackens, our armies will be yours.
Oh, is this the little guy that was the little guy?
I think it was. I swear it was the little guy that was like trying to impress Rhaenyra and stabbed a bracken at the courting ceremony.
He was like a little boy.
At Storm's End. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure it was him, or that's who it's supposed to be. Sure he was Willem Blackwood. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty certain. He seems to have grown up a bit and not at all bitter about his rejection all these years later. But, you know, he seems to be like, once you and your dragons bring the Queen's justice to the Brackens, our armies will be yours. This is Daemon you're talking to.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to be laying down the law to Daemon.
If it is that little guy, though, he's always had balls.
Well, he certainly has. Yeah, absolutely. He's a tough one. But yeah, so we'll just have to see how this all plays out. But he's got wanting Daemon to go with Caraxes and take out the Brackens. I mean, like, and then you'll have our armies. I don't know, I think when Daemon comes down from whatever Alice gave him, he might
realises that was a total self-serving comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, don't try and manipulate me, wee man.
Definitely. So did anything else happen at Harrenhal? I think that was pretty much it for the episode, wasn't it?
I think that's our Harrenhal wrap-up.
Oh, yeah. 36 minutes in and we've only done Harrenhal. Yay! That's because it's the coolest place on the map.
Yes.
It absolutely is. Love it. Can't wait to see how the rest of this unfolds. So what do you want to talk about next?
I think the next hot topic is... Oh, right, we can either go with Aemond and Aegon or Aegon and Alicent.
Ooh. Let's do Alicent in general because I've got Alicent's tea right in front of me.
Yeah, cool. Because I reckon the Aegon and Aemond thing will lead on to our wonderful battle section.
Oh, I know. Right, so let's deal with Alicent and the tea. So, yeah, that was a bit awkward.
Yeah.
So that question, that thing with her, with Orwell, when it's like, do you believe that Viserys wanted Aegon to succeed him?
She looks just so conflicted.
She is, because remember we're coming right in on the back of her having this conversation with Rhaenyra, and she's just so lost now. She's like questioning everything, and at the same time she's having to deal with whatever's going on in her belly.
Yeah. And then jump into the conversation with Laris when he kind of spots the tea and he's a bit of a dick about it, and he's like,
Oh, I have the clip.
Oh, fab.
Let's do that.
I thought I'd look in on you, Your Grace. After your absence from the small council, I feared something was amiss.
You're kind to do so, my lord, but
she's absolutely sweating.
Indulgence is my sin. I ventured
and got a
into
compress on her belly as well, which I'm going to
too far. I
think
fear.
is a hot compress.
Yeah. She took coals from the fire.
Yeah. I missed that.
That is a rich indulgence. But I believe it is a sin to deny your appetites. It will make us fully alive as mortal men.
I like the way
but yours are feet, dude.
I know. He's like saying, he's like, yeah, I know what's going on here, but I don't care.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I've come here to manipulate you. I don't give a fuck about your situation.
Yeah, absolutely. He even goes on to sort of mention Cole and go, you must be concerned for him. Alista's like, well, he's the hand. Of course I'm concerned for him.
I thought her face was a bit like... Her face and her words were two different things. Her face kind of seemed a bit like, I give zero fucks about that situation right this second because I'm currently in a very difficult place. Physically and emotionally.
Yes, definitely, and a lot of pain, physical pain.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's like taking those coals out the fire and she's wrapped them up in a big thick blanket or whatever. And I'm just thinking, thank God for the invention of hot water balls.
Yeah. Those beanies that you put in the microwave.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Oh dear. So there was a wee bit more I clipped towards the end of that scene because I thought it was quite interesting too.
I did not know you shared your lord husband's love for the histories.
If not his love, then certainly an abiding interest. The voices of history guided Viserys. He knew that his wisdom alone could only reach so far.
Do you think that is why he changed his mind? In the end, no matter how suited he thought Rhaenyra for the crown, the voices of history.
I love that he's seeking an answer, and the answer she gives him is fucking brilliant.
Would react to her succession.
It's impossible to know what steered his thoughts in those final hours.
The situation's fucked, mate, and that's it.
It is. The job's fucked and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra's supporters will believe what they wish. And so will Aegon's. The war will be fought. Many will die. And the victor will eventually ascend the throne. The significance of Viserys' intentions died with him.
Oh yes, they did.
That's so sad.
It is, but it's very, very true.
Yeah.
I mean that.
Yes, it did.
That scene in itself almost made the cut for the introduction of this episode for me because it was quite powerful.
And Laris seems to be either, in typical Laris, like really good at absorbing, but he did seem to be fairly astute in listening to what she'd said.
Yeah.
That, you know somewhere something got fucked.
Yeah.
And he's taken what she said in the right way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's not a stupid man. I don't know what the fuck he wants.
No.
Except feet.
Yeah.
But he is so clever and he knows exactly what's going on everywhere. He reads people very well, I think.
Yeah.
And there's that theory out there that he's actually like a green seer that works into rats. And he's spying on everybody.
Come on. Right, put the tinfoil away.
You can believe that. But yeah, totally. If you can believe that tinfoil, that's how Laris is getting his information. But I think he just reads people.
Yeah, I think he's very astute.
Yeah, and he's always listening.
Yeah.
He's always listening or lurking around on a balcony or...
He was never going to be a warrior. He's disabled.
No.
But he's had the luxury of coming from a family that's higher up.
Yeah.
But although Harrenhal's not the best place to come from.
He's a weird combination of Baelish and Tyrion, if you ask me, because that was Tyrion's motivations for being well-read and well-learned and knowing everyone and reading people and because, like you say, he was never going to be a warrior or you know, anything of physical prowess.
Yes.
Which is what is expected of you in that world. So he used his mind. And I think Larys is very, very similar in that way. But he has got a little bit of Baelish deviousness to him.
Oh, yeah, the guy's like a total mindfuck.
But Baelish was always serving himself. I don't know if that's 100%
yeah, we don't know what Larys is serving.
No.
Other than feet.
Oh, God. But, Matthew, we love you.
We do.
We absolutely love him. So, moving on. So, yeah, the next Alicent scene was with Aegon. But just before that, Aegon was in that small council meeting where he was just like tapping on the table and he was getting annoyed and it's like, you all bore me! And he stormed out. And I was like, I haven't decided which one's Curly, Larry or Mo yet, but he was curly haired, so let's call him Curly for argument's sake. And he's like just bumbling out. Absolutely hilarious. Loved that. It was quite amusing, but I love the way they were like, they were so boring though. They really, really were.
Yeah.
And the second he storms out the room, they all just sit back down and they're like, back to the conversation. So he's feeling a bit frustrated and he goes to his mother for some motherly advice. Well,
that didn't go down well, did it?
She was clearly not in the mood.
No.
And I get it, she's cramping and bleeding and it's just such a pain in the ass. She just had zero patience for him that day. But I did feel sorry for him by the end of it.
Yeah, the look on his wee face was a shame.
Yeah, totally. Shall we play the clip?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Where are your father's books?
I ordered them removed.
With no thought to the centuries of knowledge in those pages.
Oh dear. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking behaviour.
Your Grace? I removed them. I didn't burn them.
I heard he did.
What is it?
They don't care what I think.
Oh, the sigh.
Aegon.
My council, Cole, Aemond, they pursue their campaign without seeking my aid, or even my thoughts.
What thoughts would you have?
I'm the king.
Do you think simply wearing the crown imbues you with wisdom? Those men at your council table earned their seats. It was my hope that, once enthroned, you would honour the burden of your new duties, be silent, and strive to learn from the more studied minds around you, in the hope that you might be half the king your father was.
Ouch.
Tread carefully.
Or what?
It's her face here.
Yeah. As you did
It's
your
like,
rat catches.
come and have a go if you think you're hard
Or have you
enough.
banished as you did your hand? I ruled in your father's absence throughout his long illness, and Otto Hightower was as cunning a statesman as ever lived. You should humbly be seeking our opinions and counsel.
She's right, though.
Yeah.
You have no idea the sacrifices that were made to put you on that throne.
Yeah.
What would you have me do, Mother?
Do simply what is needed of you. Nothing.
Yeah, she just lost all the moral high ground there.
Yeah.
That was a bit harsh. There was no need for it to go that harsh.
No, but once again with Alicent, that's her guilt coming through, isn't it? Because she fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always the way shit rolls downhill. And, you know, this is the crap upbringing that she had and being used by her father. And then she doesn't know how to parent.
Yeah.
She certainly doesn't know how to comfort although I think it's easier for her with Helena. She's still, clearly there's a blockage there between her and Helena as well. But you at least see her desire to try.
Yeah.
Whereas with, like, Eamon, she's just not speaking to him. And with Aegon, she's just so harsh.
Oh, but he's been one bloody nightmare after another, isn't he?
He is, and he really is just sticking his nose into things he really doesn't fucking have a clue about, whether he's king or not. He wasn't raised to be king. He has absolutely no idea the ways of war. He's a sweet summer child, green as grass, and he knows nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. But yeah, she didn't have to be so cruel. She really didn't. So, any other notes on that?
No.
Well, I watched the episode with you. I know you didn't take any.
Yes.
But anyway, what would you like to talk about next? What should we do?
Well, the next clip we have is Rhaenys. So, would you like to move on to Rhaenys?
Yes, let's do that. Shall we start with the clip?
Yeah.
My head's still full of dragon stuff. I can barely remember any of the stuff that happened before the dragons.
I know, I'm so thankful for your clips.
I know, they're really helpful. Glad I did a pre-watch.
Yep.
Milady.
Princess, if we're holding to formalities.
Apologies, Princess.
Oh, this is tense.
And you are Alan?
Yes.
It's like we don't know what the situation is, but her face is telling you that this is tense.
But I was not told his saviour was so comely. Your mother must have been very beautiful.
Rhaenys.
Is your work finished? No, my lord.
I just had a word with your captains. He was the sailor who plucked you from your watery grave.
A lot of awkward silences.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You did not think to mention it.
I did not think it relevant.
I know who he is, Corlys. Alan's past is no fault of his. He saved his lord's life. He should be raised up and honoured, not hidden beneath the tides.
Is this why you came? To subject me to an inquisition?
I came to tell you that Baylor has called me to Dragonstone.
I don't like it when Mummy and Daddy fight.
Baylor.
That councillor's going to dine on her and Jace for supper. They grow restless in Rhaenyra's absence.
Still. Where has that woman gone?
I suspect to try and draw us all back from the abyss.
I want to believe that that's not their last conversation. We don't see them have another one, but we see them in each other's company later, and there's time passed before she actually goes off to battle.
I think they will have spent time together.
They must have. They must have.
I'm choosing to believe that.
Yes, I have to believe that. That cannot be the last intimate conversation they have.
No.
Oh no! I don't believe it. I'm making it up. I'm gonna fanfic the hell out of that. I'm gonna write my own fan fiction in my head tonight about what really happened when they said goodbye.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Yeah. I just realised, maybe I don't want to write that.
No.
So yeah, that was really tense. So I mean, what I'm taking from that is there was an affair.
It seemed so.
Yeah.
And Corlys seemed very, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, definitely. And she definitely, you know, there's a bitterness there. I'm definitely picking up on some "you cheated on me" vibes, which is I thought, you know, looking at the ages of the lads and that they were being made out to be slightly older than Leonor and maybe then from before, because I mean Corlys is a lot older than Rhaenys, so could have quite easily had plenty of people before he married her. And I'm sure he did. And that's the way I thought it was playing out there, but it definitely looks like an affair.
Yeah, or it's a question that she has that she's never felt able to explore until now.
Yeah, I get the impression it's not something they talk about.
Yeah.
It's like she's known for a long time that it happened. It's never been talked about because he's a sailor and that's what they do. And, you know, it's medieval times and men will play away and women tend to accept it.
I think you're right, though.
Not willingly.
Looking at the potential ages of them.
Yeah. I thought it could have just been that these boys were older than Leonor, because she fell pregnant pretty quick when she married Corlys. She was pregnant with Leonor within the year, if I remember rightly. I mean, it's not one of those
old
things.
Dog.
I know. It's not one of those. And then, you know, I think Lena came not far behind that. Or was the other way around? Was Lena older? I'm not sure. But they were pretty close together, both of those kids anyway. And yeah, it was, I mean, she was 16 when she married him. And he had travelled round the world and to Ashai and Thousand Islands and Sithorios, and I think he went to Sithorios. He's the 9 voyages or something like that. That's getting made into an animation.
Oh,
or
cool.
Maybe it is already. I don't know. It was certainly on the list of one of the animated ones that was coming out. It was Corlys' 9 voyages.
Ooh.
I might have to check that out. I'm not usually an anime kind of person, but it is, you know, it's the sea snake, man. I'm going to have to check that.
If that's all we're getting, then
yeah, hell yeah. So fab. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the wee side plots. I suppose it's now into the war effort. What do you think? Green Council or Black Council first?
The Green Council's hilarious.
It is, actually. The Black Council had its moments too, actually.
Yeah.
But let's go with the Greens. Because, yeah, that was my favourite. Oh, dear.
Fuck you. I told you we should have sent our dragons, and now look what's happened. Damon, of all people, has taken Harrenhal. I give you a job, and now you just sit there. It's your fucking castle!
Well, that castle is more crippled than I am, Your Grace. Decides to drive Damon to madness as he attempts to make use of it, which is beyond his faculties. It is also penniless, as I happily control all of its gold. So, as Harrenhal saps Damon's resolve, the false queen remains trapped on her island, and Sir Criston continues felling castles in the Crown Lands.
Well, I need to be informed of these things. If I am to make informed rulings, I will not be made to look a fool in front of my allies and enemies.
Harrenhal must wait. Sir Criston is marching on Rook's Rest.
Say what?
A pathetic prize. I gave no such
The castle
command.
is small, weakly defended, and Lord Staunton sits on Rhaenyra's council. After Cole smashes it, we'll have Dragonstone effectively cut off by land. This war will not be won with dragons alone, but with dragons flying behind armies of men.
No. Have him turn about. I want Harrenhal back.
Cole is already preparing his attack.
How do you know this?
He sent word to me.
To you? The two of you have been plotting without my authority.
You mean you didn't see it coming? You had more pressing matters to attend to, such as holding court, choosing your sobriquet, and naming imbecilic lickspittles to our King's Guard. Do you have a wiser strategy, my king? If so, you should voice it to your council. We all await your answer. I can have to make a war.
Harrenhal is a useful morass. It will keep Damon well occupied while we strengthen our host and weaken Rhaenyra's support on the mainland. We will deal with it in the Riverlands in time. But right now, Rook's Rest is an easy target. And a worthy effort. Don't you agree, my king?
Oh, that's just too funny.
I do love that scene. I
love that, like, Aemon's not only, like, just splatting all over him with the High Valyrian, but it's the big words that he's using as well. I had to look them up. So sobriquet means a nickname.
Okay.
And lickspittle just means a simp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got the idea what lickspittle meant. I've heard it so many times, and you kind of know what it means. But I just thought, you know what? While I'm here with the blooming dictionary out, let's have a look. And, yeah, bloody hilarious. I love it. That was just such a good scene. It was so funny.
It was, and I'm very tempted to rewatch it and completely ignore the subtitles and just watch the face acting because that's so funny.
Oh, honestly, it was like a game of tennis.
Yeah.
The spectators, da-ding, da-ding, da-ding. Oh, it was so funny. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, they picked up on some of those words. They got, but it didn't matter. You could tell that, what's his face? Oh, the guy whose name I can never remember. The one with the beard. I don't think he understood a word of it, but he picked up on the
vibe.
Yeah, he got the vibe. I think maybe the Maester, Laris, and possibly even Thailand know a few Valyrian words here and there. And they certainly got the sarcasm in the tone.
Yeah, even the
That was the best bit about it. Well done, Ian Mitchell, for that scene. That was so well delivered.
It was great.
Really, really good. He's so different when you see him in an interview.
Yeah.
It's just like, he's just like a normal, you know, it just sounds so normal, like the guy down the street, kind of normal. Well, not down our street because we live in Scotland, but, you know, guy you might bump into in any street in England, you know, in any pub in England, and he's just like so imposing as Aemond. He's brilliant. I love him. Not the character, the actor. The character's despicable. Oh, fab. Is there anything else on that scene? Did we pick up on everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it was good. I definitely enjoyed that. So what's next?
We have the Black Council next.
Oh, we do. Where were the Blacks where we left them before? I was, Rhaenyra's just been away to see Alicent.
Yeah.
And clearly she's been gone for a few days and everybody's getting antsy.
Yeah.
It's certainly very, very tense. I loved Lady Bela in this scene.
Yeah, she was fab.
She was really cool. Let's play it because it's just there's a few funny ones in this one as well.
Sir Criston Cole's host has taken to exploiting the tree cover to conceal its movements. He now only travels by night to confound our dragons.
And what is Cole's heading?
It is difficult to say, but there were signs of an army moving northwest, I believe.
But she believes.
You should have burned them when you had the chance.
Perhaps you can, Sir Alfred, when you next light them on your dragon.
The only reason we know any of this is because of Bela's efforts.
What do we know, my prince?
If you ask me, it is little.
Oh, and he annoyed the crap out of me in this
Cole
scene.
possesses a host that is growing in strength and that it is a problem.
Can Damon hope to meet it with his own in time? If I know the Riverlands, he has more disentangling ahead of him than the end of a Lycini orgy.
Have you had word from your father?
No.
Ravens were sent to Harrenhal, seeking news of Damon's progress with the Riverlords. None have, as yet, returned.
Just so. An enemy host growing in constitution marches somewhere in the vastness of the Crown Lands. We could perhaps act if only we had a host of our own, or someone here to lead us.
Mind your tongue, Sir Alfred.
Does it speak falsely, my prince? This council is rudderless.
These dudes have no respect, like...
Why should your voice be any louder than ours, princess?
Because of that title?
Yeah. It is her voice and that of the king consort that we need to raise alliances and command our vassals. But they are gone.
What has come of this council?
Oh, you're in trouble.
Daddy's home.
My lord.
Our enemy is on the march. Is there naught to be done in the absence of the Queen but to grouse and claw for power?
We do not know the Queen's doings. But we must trust that she seeks the same as each of us at this table. An end to this conflict.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely what she's been trying to achieve.
Definitely.
And then got her answer, really, didn't she, in the previous episode of where she needs to go.
Yeah, exactly. And while I can't deny it does seem a little far-fetched that Rhaenyra would, sneak into King's Landing and speak to Alicent and all the rest of it, but it made for, a wee interesting twist that people weren't expecting.
Yeah.
And it would make sense that she would want to.
Yes. The way that they are in this portrayal of the story.
Yes.
Absolutely.
In the books, they weren't friends.
No.
But the way that this has been adapted so that they are, it completely makes sense that she would want to go and just... And if not, her relationship with Alicent in some way want to be sure that she had no other option.
Yeah.
That is completely understandable. And I can also understand why she left everybody out the loop while she did it.
Yeah, because she doesn't know who she can trust. I mean, at the end of the day, so...
I'm not sure she can trust any of them.
No.
Some of them more than others. No spoilers. But yeah, it's a really tense situation, and she just had them barking at her all the time, go to war, send the dragons. And it's like she says in the beginning of the next scene when she arrives, she's like, she inherited 80 years
of peace.
Of peace from her father and her grandfather. It was a bit of a messy time just before that. That was all the Maegor stuff. So, yeah.
She was also, from being a young girl, she was coached into being the queen.
But not properly. She wasn't coached in the art of war.
No.
Viserys didn't prepare her for that, and he should have, because he should have known that it was not going to go smoothly. But he fucking buried his head in the sand and was in complete and total denial bubble that we joked about, him and Beesbury and their bubble together.
Yeah.
Bless them.
He was so passive, but he was born into a time of peace.
Yeah.
He didn't know anything about wars or...
No, he didn't have anything to teach her, really.
No.
But there were people that could have taught her that, and he could have made sure she got the right education in that, because it was
she at least has
smoothly.
self-restraint.
She does.
And she's able to look at a situation and stop and go, I'm not giving you an answer just now because I need to think about what's good for the whole of the kingdom. That's my job. That's my responsibility. Whereas Aegon's like, no one's listening to me, mummy.
You've been making plans behind my back.
I can't speak good High Valyrian. I got drunk for all my life.
Yeah, totally. But kudos to Eamon for he clearly paid attention in his language lessons.
Yeah.
Because We're totally just jumping from Rhaenyra to him, but
we are.
But he is a true Valyrian in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And so's Rhaenyra.
Yes.
She absolutely is, and so is Daemon.
And so is Rhaenys.
Absolutely, she is. And Rhaenys and Rhaenyra are displaying the wisdom and restraint of even Aegon the Conqueror, right? He didn't go like to Harrenhal and he was just like raging and attacking. He went in there and had a nice chat with Harren and gave him a chance. And when Harren says, you can't burn my house down, he went, I'll be back later to huff and puff. And, you know, he was very calm, very diplomatic. Every step that there was, I never felt through reading Fire and Blood that there was any point where Aegon was impulsive or rash.
No.
It was all very planned and strategic, but was not afraid to show force. And I think Jaehaerys as well inherited that same thing.
That strength.
That strength in the beginning when he needed to get on his dragon and show some dominance, he did. And then he didn't have to because, you know, life was peaceful after that. And I'm sure Rhaenyra would be a fantastic queen in a time of peace.
Yeah.
But she is stuck in a time of war and she has to just work with what she's got. And it must be so hard with all these voices saying, fight, attack, send the dragons, you know.
Release the Kraken.
I think it'll be the end of season 3 before we see any Greyjoys. Oh dear. But yes, I'm sure some Krakens will come into play later.
Oh, I do hope so.
Not real ones, just, you know, Ironborn. But anyway, yeah, it's a fab shitstorm that they've got going on there.
Yeah.
So what shall we play? The Black Council, the final scenes.
Yeah.
Before going off to battle.
I see no other choice. We need to send a dragon.
Where?
To support the war that your vassals have been fighting in your absence.
Oh yeah, cheeky little
Your
shit.
Grace.
Okay, reeling your attitude, wee man.
Cole's host has grown since riding abroad. He raised the levies of both Rosby and Stokeworth and, with their combined strength, sacked Duskendale.
Duskendale?
The city has fallen. Many Darkling men declared for Aegon. Those who refused were put to the sword.
What of my father?
He kept his oath. Cole took his head for it.
Oh.
Where have you been? These last days? You vanished without so much as a word.
I apologise for my absence and the secrecy, but such was necessary. I went to King's Landing.
To what possible end?
To meet Queen Alicent and sue for peace.
You saw Alicent?
Yes, I did.
You could have been taken or slain.
I inherited 80 years of peace from my father. Before I was to end it, I needed to know that there was no other path. And now I do.
It's what they wanted to hear,
Only
isn't it?
one choice remains to me. Either I win my claim, or die.
We stand at the ready.
Well, when you put it like that.
Yeah.
Cole's victories have only emboldened him. He marches on Rook's Rest.
His host was just hours away when Lord Staunton's ravens took wing.
Why Rook's Rest? After Duskendale? It's but a small coastal keep.
Because Lord Staunton is a member of this council. And because his castle is small and vulnerable and there for the taking. Cole knows we have no army on the mainland.
He is brazen.
He is daring us to act.
We need to send a dragon.
He is right, though.
Yeah.
There are those who have mistaken my caution for weakness. Let that be their undoing. I will go.
My queen.
You cannot.
I will not loose dragons to war whilst I hide here in my castle.
Our allies raise their banners for you, Mother.
Yes, they do.
If you die, all is lost. Send me.
No.
I will burn Cole's lines and withdraw before King's Landing could even
You lack
raise
the
alarm.
experience.
True story.
Totally.
You must send me, Your Grace.
True story.
Mm-hmm. Melis is your largest dragon and no stranger to battle. I will meet Cole.
Oh. So, I looked into this. Well, actually, I found the answer to this by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we were talking about this whole line about Melis being no stranger to battle.
Yeah.
She said it at the beginning of the series, or was it the end of last season? And she's just said it again twice in this episode. She says it there, and she says it to Melis as well. Off to battle again, old friend. And there's no record in Fire of Blood of her ever being in a battle. And so I was watching, it was on Westeros.org. It's Linda and Elio who wrote the World of Ice and Fire with George. And they take the Wiki of Ice and Fire. That's the website that they manage. They're like Georgie's record keepers. Anyway.
George's Maesters.
Yes, absolutely. And so they did a breakdown of this episode and what was different from the books. And one of the things they mentioned was this line. Now, what happened was originally George wanted that to be true.
Yeah.
And he changed his mind somewhere down the line. And they kept asking him about it. Sorry, the line was there and they kept asking him about it. And he was like, yeah, there's going to be something. I'm just not finished yet. But then eventually he changed his mind. And what happened was somehow, despite the fact that this happened, that line still made it to print.
Oh, okay.
So it's a complete error in the world because George is adamant that there was no battle that Melis was a part of, and yet this line made it to print and the show have ran with it.
Oh, well, who are we to argue with George or the showrunners?
Exactly. I mean, George has said that the showrunners have ran with it, but there's no evidence in the histories of it happening. So here we are, a small error in the world of Ice and Fire that's just slipped through by the publishers.
Yeah.
There's another one actually I read about in the last week as well, was the sigil.
Right, okay.
So apparently the House Targaryen sigil was originally a two-legged dragon. Like Georgie's dragons are two-legged dragons, the arms or the wings.
Yes.
But for the first maybe 4 or 5 seasons of the show, it was right. And then somehow it changed when it was Daenerys on her ships. It was the 4-legged dragon on those sigils. And then House of the Dragon have taken that sigil from the Game of Thrones where they changed it. And apparently George hates it. George is like, my dragons are 2-legged dragons.
Yeah.
And they changed it to 4-legged dragons halfway through Game of Thrones, and then House of the Dragon have picked it up as well.
I'm with George.
I'm with George too. I mean, we've all seen the dragons. Those are 2-legged dragons.
Yep, the only dragon that deviates from that is Caraxes.
Yes.
With the leg wings.
Yeah, exactly. But still, he has leg wings, but he still only has two legs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a couple of little blunders in the world of Ice and Fire there, contradicting A, what is written in the text, and B, something that was not supposed to be in the text.
That's very irritating.
It is a little, isn't it? Anyway, moving on from reality back to the fantasy. So that conversation was really tense on so many different levels.
Yeah.
First of all, Jace, he really just going at her, and publicly.
Yeah, it was bordering on disrespectful.
It was, wasn't it? By all means, if
as
you've
his queen and as his mother.
Yes, both. But as heir, he has a right to raise questions, but those should have been done. That should have been done privately.
Yeah, and you can see that. I mean, he has had a really rough couple of weeks.
Yeah,
he's lost his brother, And she's been gone for a few days, and this nippy council has picked at him, saying, well, do you have answers then? What are you going to do? Where's your mother? Where's your mother?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? This is what we're going to do. Ah!
Totally. But he's just like, I get it. I get he's on edge, but it's that face.
Yeah.
It was his bloody face. It wasn't so much what he was saying. What he was saying, it was like, okay, yeah, I mean, you should be maybe lowering your tone a little bit and maybe having this conversation in private, but your questions are valid. But his face, it was very petulant teenager.
It was, but she totally gave him the mum voice and the mum stare, and he packed it right in.
She absolutely did. And yes, zip it. Definitely. So that's Kristen Cole now taking Duskendale. That's House Darklin. In this episode, we also, at the beginning, we heard that he'd taken Rosby and Stokeworth as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, and they didn't put up a fight. They fell without siege.
Yeah.
So he's added their armies to his ranks. That's 3 houses that were loyal to Rhaenyra turned to, well, I mean, what's left of Darklin, because they did put up a fight.
Yeah.
But so the survivors are now with Cole to be used as cannon fodder.
Dragon fodder.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what he does with them.
Yeah.
He actually calls out, it's like, oh yeah, send in the Darklands to just, dragon fodder.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we'll get to that because we have to officially call it the dragon section.
Awesome.
Before we get there.
Finally.
So was there anything else going on in that council meeting that we wanted to talk about? Oh, Rhaenys, of course, her. I will go.
Yeah.
It did have to be her. It really did. She was the only experienced dragon rider there that wasn't the queen.
And I don't think Rhaenyra actually said anything. It was her face and her
She wanted to fight her. You could see she had this moment and she's like, I want to argue with you, but I can't think of a good argument, so I'm going to have to agree.
She's really only she's the only parental figure that Rhaenyra's got left. She's the only person that she can trust.
Her father's cousin, and they were close.
Yeah, she's. When you have those moments
Rhaenyra
when you're like,
have never been close, obviously, but
as an adult, when you go, oh, I need to ask an adult.
Yes,
it's that.
Yeah.
She's her adult.
Yeah, she is her adult in the room.
Yeah,
she's her voice of reason.
Yeah,
and wisdom, and the only one left of her father's generation, except Daemon, obviously, who's not really great advice giver.
He's about as good as a man short, really, isn't he?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
tucking into his weirwood paste.
Like, no questions asked as well. She's just like, here, drink this. Okay.
Yeah, just have that nasty, sinewy, blood-looking, whatever that is,
falling off his chin.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's no good to man or beast right now.
No. So here we are.
It's the dragon section. So
awesome.
Let's take a little break and we'll be back.
We will.
And we're back.
Wow.
We watched it again, folks. We ran away for a break and watched it again. I hope you did too.
It was awesome.
It's so good. I'm never going to tire of watching that scene.
No, it was so good.
That is the shit that we have been waiting for.
Yes.
When I heard, this House of the Dragon, the Dance of the Dragons was going to be portrayed on television, this is what I hoped for. I was starting to lose a little hope. But oh my God, that did not disappoint.
From start to finish, it was absolutely amazing.
It really, really was. Just the choreography was stunning. The CGI was fucking like nothing I've ever seen before.
The music was amazing. The parts when they showed how bonded each rider was to their dragon.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, that was...
Apart from Aemond, I don't get that vibe from Aemond and Vhagar that they have a close bond in a loving way.
No, I think they just have a mutual respect for destruction.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Nana just likes to fuck shit up.
And bless, Aegon got his sort of first bit of love that we've seen for such a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. With Sunfire, definitely. There was just that little moment within them, and I was just like, oh, someone loves you, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Oh, she's not in a good way. He. I think Sunfire's a he. Yes. I was listening. Yes, Sunfire is a he. But yes, that dragon's in a bad way now.
Yeah.
But we're skipping ahead to the end. Let's go back to the beginning of this battle. First of all, like I said before the break, Cole just using the Rosbys, Stokeworths, Darklings as dragon fodder. The first thing that we see in this battle is it's like Darkling and Rosby shields, all taking arrow fire. They're just those guys are the infantry.
Total little funny moment. Gawain's like, what's going on?
Oh, Gawain, honestly. Throughout this episode, actually, I noticed it earlier on in the episode as well. Gawain's looking a little bit battle worn.
Yeah.
He's looking a bit tired. I think he's been humbled a little. He was a cocky little git at first, and we've seen some real battle. He's,
Well, I bet he's never seen a battle like that. Jeezy peeps.
Well, nobody had, because once the dragons were in play, everybody just stopped and looked up.
Yeah. Dragon!
It was more like dodging dragon fire after that, every man for themselves.
Yeah.
It was crazy out there. And like I say, once the dragons come into play, there's just strategy's gone.
Yeah.
Strategy is out the window. You've just got to make sure a dragon doesn't fall on your head or bleed on you.
Yeah.
Did you see them sizzling with the dragon blood? That was so cool, but ouch. Hot. So let's do this player by player, right? First of all, what do you think of Cole throughout this scene?
I don't really give a shit about Cole in this scene, if I'm perfectly honest. I think he's kind of to the side for me.
Yes,
he's just
I don't want to get all excited about Dragon and gloss over the strategy that went on there between him and Aemond, and the fact that they've got this plan in place, and
the strategy was kind of fucked though when Aegon turned up.
Yeah, Aegon
Aemond
did fuck
was
that.
That look at it, fucking hell.
It's idiot.
Yeah, why is this dipshit here?
Yeah, but he didn't react. He didn't jump in and go, I better go and get in there early and back him up. He's just leave it. He might die.
Love Vhagar's big huff.
Totally. I think you said when we watched it the first time that it reminded you of your dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I've seen your dog do that.
Yep. Go lie down.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, there was a lot of, that moment on Cole's face when the king arrived and Gwen's like, is this your plan? No, it fucking wasn't. That looked like this was the plan.
Signal!
More signal arrows, all the signal arrows. Definitely. And then, of course, we've got Aemond. When he does come in, first thing he does is blast fire, not giving a shit who he hits.
Yeah.
Right at the king. His brother.
He meant to hit him. He was like, you little arsehole, you've turned up and now's my chance.
That was not an accident, heated battle. That was a decision.
Yeah, he looked right at him.
Mm-hmm, he had plenty
and Aegon
of time.
saw him do it.
Oh, he did. He totally did. He knew what was coming. I don't think Rhaenys really knew what was going on until the very last second.
Yeah.
But Mellie's well dodged that flame. She was out of there, quick, smart. Ultimate respect to the Red Queen. She was amazing.
She was.
Those claws raking across Sunfire's chest. It was brutal.
It was. I just felt so sorry for all the dragons. I was like, oh, it's like when the dog dies in a film.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not the dragon.
I know, it was brutal. It was really hard to watch. I was like covering my mouth because I didn't want to say anything. I was like, got to save the chat for the podcast.
Yeah.
I was like literally covering my mouth so I couldn't say anything, but part of me wanted to cover my eyes as well. And then I was like, well, that would be pointless.
Yeah.
But it was a visual feast. It really was. It was respect to Mr. Alan Taylor again.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It was stunningly directed. It's the team that make the dragons and how they move, and just it was
so intense.
It was so realistic.
It was so real.
I mean, I know we're talking about dragons here who are mythical creatures, but that is how I would expect them to move.
Yeah.
You know, I love the way Mellie's, comes up underneath Sunfire and attacks like that, but then she tried to do the same tactic on Vhagar, and Vhagar grabbed her by the back ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then started blasting fire in her face. It was, tell you what.
I'd actually like to bring up the moment of silence.
Oh.
Which was so needed as a viewer because it was so intense.
It really was.
And then you just have this darkness for a second and silence, and I totally went
to breathe. I can finally breathe. It's like you just realise you've been holding your breath.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was very, very, very well needed, very well edited.
Yeah. Well-placed silence is sometimes just as good as all the action.
I wrote a whole essay about it, God, I love the use of silence in the right places. It was just beautifully done. And then we come back in with this slow-mo and this, light music. There was music when it came back in, or...
I don't know, I was in a state of shock.
I'm unsure now. I've seen it 6 times and I'm still not even sure. Because every time that bit comes around, I'm just like, I can breathe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes back in slow-mo, and there's Vhagar's, trying to find her feet and get back up, and men are just diving left, right and centre, trying to avoid getting stomped on. Somebody did get stomped on though, didn't they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, there was that moment in season 1. We had one of those moments with Caraxes on the beach,
yes,
where he just stomped on the guy. This is a much bigger foot.
Yes.
So yeah, let's just move on to Rhaenys.
Yeah, she had 2 opportunities to leave.
She did, and I get that. When she came back the first time, she kind of only started to fly off because it was just regroup, get your head together. And then she turned around, she had a job, she had a mission to do, which was to stop the attack on the castle, to destroy the troops on the ground. But she also had an opportunity to take out the king here.
Yeah.
So she was something she couldn't walk away from, clearly. But the second time she knew she was going to die.
Yeah.
She said, what's the quote from the book? With a glad cry and a crack of her whip, she turned towards her foe.
Aww.
Glad they didn't use whips. I think it made them less sympathetic.
Yeah. I think for me, the scene with Rhaenys and Meleys, she looks her dragon in the eye, and there's that eye contact and that, right, okay, we're going to do this. We both know this is a kamikaze mission.
Yeah.
And then the moment when Vhagar's got her by the neck and the light leaves her eyes, it's so sad.
Definitely. You've seen that dragon, the life just disappear from...
Oh, it was so sad. I would say that's the saddest death so far.
Definitely. Without a doubt. I mean, that dragon was dead before it hit the ground, but Rhaenys as well. I mean, she just accepted her fate. She absolutely accepted it. She was so brave, and it was just heartbreaking, but phenomenal to watch. It was an amazing scene.
And when the dragons hit the ground, there's this explosion.
Yeah, we saw it twice. We saw it with Ellie's hand thing. And I'm thinking it's like because they breathe fire and when they hit the ground, the impact of the air being forced out of their lungs has caused this big poof. It's like a little mini explosion going off. And again, speaking more of dragons on fire, poor Sunfire is upside down flapping, trying to get the fire off the wings and falling to the ground and trying to like get the fire off but turn around at the same time. And the agility, I keep coming back to the movement of these dragons. It was so impressive all round. But I just don't know what to say. I'm so sad and so impressed.
It was very intense.
Oh, I guess we know where a lot of the budget for this season went.
Absolutely.
Big time.
I did love in that scene the little horse standing with PTSD on its own.
When Cole was went up towards Aegon. Yeah, that poor horse. It was just like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm not going to move. If I don't move, it can't see me.
I know. For a moment there, I thought Cole was going to go and get on the horse.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, he took one look at that horse and went, yeah, that horse is going nowhere.
And then poor Sunfire.
Oh, he's so broken. I just said she again. He is so broken.
And Aemond was almost going to take his chance, wasn't he?
He really was.
What a little shit.
Aye. He's, although, on my rewatch, I think it was yesterday, I didn't really notice it again today, it's only because you brought it up, I've remembered, but yesterday, when I was doing the clips and stuff, on that, we rewatched, and of course, once I got all my clips, I just let it play on, as you do. It's the dragon scene. But I noticed that the way he was holding his sword, when Cole says, Aemond, he looks over his shoulder and looks at Cole. I shouldn't turn away and look over my shoulder demonstrating here because I'm turning away from the mic. But
She's
anyway,
in the moment.
I'm in the moment. So Aemond looks over his shoulder and then just slips his sword back into his scabbard as if that's what he was always going to do.
Yeah.
He played it very smooth. He'd just say, yeah, no, I'm just resheathing my sword here. I wasn't going to do anything, honest. You see, he still has an element of respect for Cole.
Yeah.
He did seem to be a bit buddy at the beginning of the season as well.
I feel like it's the only person he's got respect for.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, other than Vhagar.
Well, he's trained him.
Yeah.
And they've been plotting and planning together as well, thinking that they know how to run everything better than the people in charge.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they're not wrong, though.
No.
It was a solid plan. In the books, though, Aegon was there with Vhagar lying in wait. Aegon didn't just drunkenly stumble into the fight. It was part of the plan in the book.
I liked the show version better.
I prefer the drunken stumbling into the fight thing.
Yeah.
I think that is just suits Aegon's character so much better.
I love Tom Glencarney's facial expressions, like when he sees Aemond and I'd said
like,
when we were watching
thank goodness you're here.
We should redo this as a bad lip reading.
Sold.
Yeah.
We'll let you know when that video is available on YouTube, guys.
To be confirmed.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, confirmed. That's happening.
Coming soon.
We could do one with Alison and Rhaenyra and the Sept as well.
Oh, that would be so good.
Definitely. So, did we cover all the dragon stuff? Have we?
Yeah, I feel like we did cover all the dragon stuff. It was just crazy. It was so good. So good.
So good. I think before I watch the next episode, I may just watch it again.
Yeah, because the way the episode ends, it just ends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a great shout.
Yeah,
just rewatch that again and then slide into that.
Definitely. So that is the end of her dragon section then. And it was my favourite one so far.
Yeah.
It was so good. I'm very happy. I'm buzzing. Em, I'll tell you, I'm smiling from ear to ear here.
She totally is. And now we've got to do the RIP section. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. So now it's time for RIP.
What a buzzkill.
I know.
But here we are.
So in this episode, we said goodbye to a large selection of the men of House Darklin.
Yeah, lots of Darklin soldiers.
Obviously, there was a lot of the Green soldiers on the ground there too. And then we said goodbye to Lord Darklin. He seemed like a stand-up kind of guy.
He did. He was true to his word.
Loyal to his queen to the end.
Yeah.
And then we also lost some Rosby soldiers as well.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the Stokeworths.
Yeah. And some more Darkland soldiers. Those guys really took a hit.
They really did. There's not a lot left of House Darklin. And finally, we said goodbye to Princess Rhaenys Targaryen. I'm going to cry. Did you hear my voice crack there?
Oh, God.
Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen who never was. This is a big loss. She's my fave. We're going to miss her.
We're also going to miss Meleys.
Oh, I know. Absolutely awesome. So, rest in peace, Rhaenys.
And rest in peace, Meleys.
And all the Darkland soldiers.
And those Darkland soldiers. Many, many Darkland soldiers.
Yes. And, you know, after a while, I just lost track of who was dying. To be honest with you, I don't think any side really won that battle.
I'd also like to say a special RIP to all the horses.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of dead horses on the field, wasn't there?
There was.
Okay, so that's the end of our RIP. And that was too many deaths to list, really.
It was, and all those Darkland soldiers.
Oh, that's it. And now it's time for fun facts. So I had a look at the IMDb fun facts, and they're rubbish. They're like stuff we've already mentioned or spoilers. So let's just not even do that. But I have one interesting fun fact.
Fabulous.
So do you remember last week we were having a little bit of a debate about whether or not Daemon should be called Your Grace?
Oh, yeah.
Right, so it was bugging me. And I had to go and look it up. And what I learned was that the title Your Grace was not only for kings, but also bishops and dukes as well. But they don't have a duchy in that world. They just have kings, queens and lords. They don't have a duchy.
No.
But the term, but if we were to go based on our own monarchy, Prince Philip was the Duke of Edinburgh, so therefore could have been titled Your Grace.
Oh, yeah.
But the funny part of this is I want to tell you what it is. It's an abbreviation.
Right,
the term
okay.
Your Grace, and this is why it suits Daemon to the ground. The full formal style is the most high, noble and potent prince, His Grace.
Oh, right, okay. I'm sure he'll love that.
I'm sure he would absolutely love the full title. So it says, however, a royal duke, such as Prince Edward, the Duke of Kent, is addressed as Your Royal Highness.
All right, okay.
So a Prince's Highness, but a royal duke is Your Royal Highness.
Ah, that sounds kind of bizarre, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, I suppose in a world where there's no precedent, so therefore no one has ever been called Your Grace as a king consort before, because there's never been a king consort.
Yeah.
But I suppose there's a little bit of wiggle room here that he could make this a new thing, which is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. He's Daemon and he can do what he wants at this point.
It's clearly working.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're all calling him Your Grace.
They are now. No one's arguing anymore. They don't want to get fed to Caraxes.
No. Caraxios.
I know. Oh, I got my Caraxios t-shirt on. The Angry Dragon noodles.
It's the best t-shirt. Well, almost the best t-shirt.
If I ever make a video, I'll wear it. Well, we'll make videos. It's just if you ever make a video that you see me in. That might not happen.
We may make like a weird Fiona robot, like in Big Bang when Sheldon makes the Sheldon robot with the t-shirt on and the iPad.
Oh yeah. Oh, that is so funny.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm picturing these videos looking more like Fun with Flags. To be fair. Me too. Do you have any other fun facts?
No, I mean, like we said, it's been a while. So my fun fact bank is all drained.
It's a little bit rusty at the moment. Well, to be fair, this was a highly eventful episode. We're an hour and 48 minutes into ours, so I think it's a great time to wrap it up.
Cool.
As we are a wee bit behind the... we're not going to ignore the fact that there has been a lot of news surrounding House of the Dragon in the recent weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it in this episode. I want to just keep this episode about what it was about.
Yeah.
Because the events that happened are related to things that happened later on anyway.
Yeah.
So I may still feel the need to rant about them then. By that, I might have fizzled out. So we'll see. But for now, we're going to leave this on a happy note.
We are.
So let's do the close.
So we'll see you back here next week for episode 5 called Regent.
Yes.
And if you want to contact us, you can head over to our website, theunrealhour.com, where you can find links to our social media and Patreon to review, like, follow and subscribe. You can also leave us a voice message that we may use on the show. Finally, you can email us at talk@theunrealhour.com.
And if you like what we're doing here and you want to support the show, then visit patreon.com/theunrealhour, where you can subscribe for ad-free listening, early access episodes and exclusive content. If you don't want to commit to a monthly subscription, then you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/theunrealhour. All your donations will go back into the show to cover costs and keep the lights on. Once again, thanks for listening. Until next time,
keep it unreal.